May the 4th be with you. I think it's May 4th today. Yep. The mind virus. That's taken a little bit too far, maybe. It's remembrance. These stories, they're remembrance in honor of a spirit. They're archetypical, which is just nature. I kind of feel as much as we study the archetypes, more will be born. Maybe that's one of the things we do to create new myth, to express something. And it's not so much fatalistic as it is opportunistic. To divide yourself from the feeling is, it's an art. Most people just cut it off, but there's a process. And I feel it takes time to understand the value of that. Now, my father had a very wry sense of humor. So do I, in a way. I understand why. Through life. I see it in my brothers and sisters, and I know it in those who don't appreciate it. It's this mental coping with the price of humility, essentially. Through bending your will for something else. I feel it's an ancient spirit comes at the it's born of the result of culture and society. Most importantly, though, it's born of that opportunity for us to express our spirit into it and learn what the price of the game was. And sometimes you do it so well and so gloriously that you hand that cost down to many future generations. And you can see it fatalistically, idealistically like that, or you could see it as the rising of a maturing of a spirit born through you, elementalizing in life. That's the alchemical process, perhaps. So knowing what that energy is and how it affects others, it's taught me how to not own that in a way, to see the pros and the cons, the light and the dark of what that is, and to mature what that is, to realign the will instead of being bent for something of an ownness from some inborn guilt thing, shame thing. It's how do you recover yourself through that process? How do you forge the steel in the fire? Why? Is it to build or destroy? We learn to destroy ourselves in order to know the value of what building is. So this wry energy, this irony, this dark shadow, which I feel we all have dark shadows handed down to us. But just like every day, the clouds start to lighten up. When you're in the moment and it's the darkest sky you've ever seen, probably within a few weeks you'll see a sunny day, depending on where you live, what cycles, seasons, expressions you're living. So knowing that contrast helped me to understand the value of the sunny days, the little things, the things that do keep you humble because they keep you grounded to reality without having to be reminded of the punishment for the ignorance, the reaching for whatever your dream was, whatever the power was, because others couldn't hold it, couldn't handle it. And so they gifted you the lesson through expression. Frictions in relation. It's like a violinist with the bow on the string, you know, its life is just churning through us. So sometimes we take hold of it and we understand things and we have to release knowing all these other things, and then later on we see what we held on to kept us from these other things, but it actually gave us a sense of something else which we'll later use and understand. And so we're always assessing and reassessing and understanding our value in different ways. And in life we see that our value is actually in relation to the outside world, what we're doing. When I was pouring through crash logs and system logs and things for myopic technical reasons, it didn't really fulfill me at all. It just used all that bent up energy towards that focal activity, and I became a human I.O. essentially, the predecessor to AI, born within all these techies. But it's always been in the engineering energy, the control energy, the system energy. So it's a contribution to society in that way. I digress. So coming out of that and realizing the value of our potential is limited to the canvas. If you're drawing on a card, you can get a lot of detail and stuff in there, but it may not have the same impact as if you're drawing on the side of a building. You know, the expansive psyche it takes to bring your spirit into resonance with what you're feeling and what you're experiencing is different. So that's how our energy is. So limiting it to statics, you know, bare essentials for me. How can I live feeling my best? That's my key. And then I'll make it work from there. That's foundation. I know I can do what I need to do if I need to do it. And then I just let that go and live. it helps to keep the spirit healthy. We normally focus on the body, the mind, the brain, the machinery, and we atomize it into diet and regiment it with schedule and process and all that stuff, but we don't touch the spirit. We never allow that to exercise and express. So, however you can do that's probably a good investment for yourself. That's a good way to use Venus for practical and beautiful expression, games. Alright, well, that's all I wanted to say, so thanks for watching, listening, and being.